Okay, the first thing I have to tell you. So I was a small kid using bright dress and long boots and a scarf around him, and he's turning the other way and standing. My thing is turn. I want to see you turn. And he's not turning. Okay.
Can we start?
Yes, sir. This is Rajamouli, sir. First, I got introduced to his movies first. He is a fantastic host. As in, he meets people with his family and in his house, and so much of food. There's a lot of food, sir. Lot more than what he speaks about the films. All right. So we had a very good time. He didn't even speak anything about the film.
Right.
And then comes the narration. He said, "Sudeep, can we just sit 5 minutes?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm making this film. Okay, I want you to be a part of it." I said, "Yes, sir." So what is it? So he says, the film is called Ega. I said, "I don't know the meaning of Ega, sir." Ega means fly, he said. Fly. That was interesting. Okay. I said, "Okay." So there's this girl and a boy. They love each other a lot. And there's this very rich man who has no failure in his life. And he loves that girl. And to get that girl, he has to kill the guy. And the guy becomes a fly to take revenge. That's my story. That is all he said, sir.
Right.
I thought for a while and I said yes. And then later he asked me, many months later, "Tell me something, that day something." Now today is my curiosity. I didn't even tell you the whole story. How come you agree? I said, "Sir, the moment you said this, I remembered a Batman, Spider-Man, where nobody knows who the hero is. All they remember is the villain or the Joker. And I was the one here. And it's a clean laid mono-acting platform, sir. So I loved it." So that is my first thing. I met him, and very cordial, very jovial, very focused man, very confident personality, and definitely a director which every actor in every industry look up to, whether they get to work with him or not. But it's my desire that everybody gets a chance to work with such directors with such focus.
Thank you.
Dr. Vishnuvardhan, sir. Okay, the first thing I have to tell you. So I was a small kid, probably second standard, third standard, I don't know. So we had a hotel in Shimoga called Sea Lord. Okay. And sir was shooting Preeti Madu Tamasha Nodu, a film, I think, like that, with Dwarkesh sir, in Kemangundi. There's a place called Kemangundi near Shimoga. So normally when people came there for shooting, they used to ask my dad to get food from the hotel.
Okay.
Sanjeevana, all were close to him. So Sanjeeva, Uta Tambudi. So my father took huge carriers and he took me along. So I went there and I was standing, and here is a man, far off there's a rock, there's a shot kept and everything, there's a rock, and I still believe that using bright dress, sir, and long boots and a scarf around him, and he's turning the other way and standing.
Right.
He's taking the breeze.
Okay.
And the shot is not yet ready. My thing is turn. I want to see you turn. And he's not turning. And finally, after something ready and all that, he just turned. I've never seen a color like that. I've seen people fair. This was not fair. And that time he was young, and with that makeup also, he was glowing. I was awestruck by him, and then later, much later, he came and he did that to my hair and my thing, and he had a, though he is not a man with a very bass voice, but he had a baritone to it.
Okay.
And the swag he maintains and carries himself, was something that mesmerized me that day, and I've been in awe of that man ever since. And later, I probably got to know him as a personality as I grew up. So it was that dream to always work with him, direct him, and not forget all that, just to be with him. I used to always go to his house, he used to always call me, and we used to have a great time, and a man of lot of thoughts, definitely beautiful. If you sit with him for some time, he has so much of knowledge about the world and people, and he had cut off himself from a lot of people. But yes, sir, this is my first thing about him, and I always consider him as my idol.
Thank you.
Kamal Haasan, sir. Yes, I guess he is. The first time I met him was after I did Swati Muthu. Oh. So I went to show it to him, and I met him after 3 days though. I kept waiting. I think he was busy. I couldn't meet him at all. And then finally I was called inside, and then he told me, and I told him I've been waiting. He said, why did you think you should have come? I said, sir, I've been in your office only from 3 days, sir. Nobody's calling me inside. But then that is the first meeting with him, and an actor which every actor looks up to in this film fraternity of Indian cinema, and somebody who's made a book about what acting is himself. And if anybody says performer, the first name that comes is Mr. Kamal Haasan. Dr. Rajkumar, sir. The first time I saw him was at Shimoga, sir. When I was a child, was a kid, and too small. And that time there was a rally that sir was taking, Rajkumar sir, and he was all over the place, all over Karnataka. And then the time for Shimoga, and then they fixed it that he'll come home for lunch. And I remember him coming home, and my home was, except the walls, everything was broken, sir. The people, like, you know that, you might have seen that old trains or something, where people are hanging, old buses of that in the freedom times, people are hanging to move around. My house is literally like that. It's a small house. Windows, there are 100 faces there, and the fan club, the fans he had, I think that's the first time we saw. My mom was very particular, and she loved the plants. Everything were broken. That was his base. And then I got to see him again whenever my father took me, very rarely. And he shot again in Sarovar once. There I got to meet him. Very gentle person, very genuine, and at no point of my meeting with him I have seen another face of his. There's only one clean, crystal clear human being he was. And I had an opportunity that he had come up some of my film inaugurations. I got to spend some amazing time with him. He always took this initiative to come and see the films like Kiccha, Sparsha, all of them he had done. And yes, sir, a huge personality, I think, which every individual look up to here.
Thank you.
Amit ji, Amitabh Bachchan sir, yes, he is our hero in the childhood days. I think I kept telling him a couple of my interviews. Two people responsible for me in my life to learn Hindi is Kishore Kumar sir and Amitabh Bachchan sir. Because of these people, we learned Hindi. You know, I wouldn't really give it to the education that came from school. I wanted to understand what they're singing, and as and when I used to sing Kishore Kumar sir's song, we started understanding, learning. I don't know exactly when I learned, but I learned then. And Amitabh Bachchan sir is the first superstar of India. I would look at it that way for us, our generation. And yes, sir, little did I dream that one day, you know, I will get to work with him, and wow, what a time it was. And before that, first time I saw him was at that road, sir, that railway track road near Windsor Manor. Windsor Manor, down you go, and there's a left you take, and there's a road which... So there's a house there where he was shooting Mahan. So when we got to know, my father took me, and he carried me that day, and there was a picture. And then I met him next is at one RGV's Aaj Ki Sholay or something like that, where I saw him again on the stage. And then I got to meet him when I was working with him. So that day when I went and told him, sir, I've met you. He's like, really? Yes, sir. Today I'm standing by you. Thank you so much for that. And he's a wonderful human being and a great personality. What an actor. Sometimes when he's performing in front of you, I think we'll forget what we're doing and we just keep looking at him. And yes, sir. Time has been kind. I call him Mama, Ambareesh Mama. I never called him Ambareesh sir or anything because he's seen me from childhood. He's been one of the closest associates to my father as a friend. And very, very, very genuine with his everything. Whether his foul language or good language. He was very genuine with it. And I think it's very, very rare that somebody can actually shout, scream at somebody and you still keep smiling. If somebody uses a bad language on you, you get triggered. You know, it's very intriguing. This person is the only person who would tell anybody anything and they'll still be smiling. You know, and somebody who stood up for the industry a lot. You know, and a great man with a great leadership qualities. And I would definitely say that it's always been an honor to be knowing him upfront, so close. I got to work with him on a couple of occasions. I started my career with him, but that film didn't take off. And then I got a film with him again, Veera Parampare. I think it was wonderful standing by him just as a bodyguard also. I was okay with that, and because I really loved him. And I don't think, sir, in every film industry there are haters, sir. He's the only man who didn't have anybody hating him. You know, like everybody liked him, everybody adored him, everybody loved him, everybody respected him. So he's the only man who could command respect in this industry. Where, like, I can vouch for this, that even if anybody says something, there may still be a small amount of disagreement. Not with him. Right. He would say it, and we were like, "Hey, Mada." Maybe we didn't like that to do that, but he said it. Yeah. We'll do it. It was like that, and I think definitely, sir, we lost a great leader, sir, and it's been very difficult for a replacement ever since. Though we have very good personalities, we all respect in this industry, but something about that man, sir, the way he commanded respect, even amongst the opposition of the parties where he was, you know, if he was here and the opposition parties were dining with him, right, drinking with him, partying with him, and he'll pick up the phone with so much of confidence. He's calling the opposition party, what again? Hey, blah, 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 I'm sending this person, just have a look now. Chalo, you go. It can never happen, sir. It's magic. He is a man I still believe lived life king size, completely and thoroughly.
Thank you so much, sir. This was a really interesting session, and it was great to know where you met these great personalities first. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful.